Ladies and gentlemen, as we navigate the seasons of life, we must learn to discern who truly deserves a place in our hearts and efforts. Time is our most precious commodity, and as we age, our resources, emotional, physical, and financial, become even more sacred. Let me tell you today, never help certain kinds of people in your old age. There are those who come into your life not to support you, but to siphon your energy. These are the takers, the ones who never contribute, never reciprocate, and never consider how their actions affect you. They smile in your face, but leave you drained. In your golden years, you cannot afford to keep such people close. Then there are the ungrateful ones. Oh, you know the type. No matter how much you give, they never say thank you. Instead, they treat your sacrifices like entitlements. Hear me, when someone cannot respect your value, they do not deserve your help. Disrespect today is neglect tomorrow. And don't get me started on the opportunists. They come running when they need something but vanish when you're in trouble. Their loyalty is to their benefit, not to you. In your old age, you need people who will stand by you, not opportunists who only stand for themselves. Finally, protect yourself from the burden of betrayal. Nothing stings like pouring your heart into someone who later stabs you in the back. Betrayal leaves scars that no amount of time can heal. So I say this to you today: your time, your peace, and your love are treasures. Stop giving them to those who cannot appreciate their worth. In your old age, help those who honor you, who love you, and who have been there for you through thick and thin. For the rest, let them go. Thank you. Betrayal is a wound that cuts deeper than almost any other pain life can inflict upon us. It is not an external blow, but an internal rupture caused by those we trust the most. When someone you have helped, nurtured, or stood by in their darkest hour turns around and forsakes you, it leaves a scar that no amount of time can completely erase. This is especially true as we grow older and begin to rely more heavily on the relationships we have cultivated over the years. Betrayal in old age carries a unique burden because it not only hurts but also shatters the foundation of trust and security you hope to rely upon. Think back to the sacrifices you have made for certain people in your life, the nights spent worrying about their welfare, the times you offered them your last dollar, or the countless occasions you gave them your time, energy, and support. These sacrifices were not made out of obligation, but out of love, care, and a sense of shared humanity. Yet some people take that love for granted, twisting your kindness into a weakness they can exploit. They repay loyalty with deceit, generosity with ingratitude, and devotion with neglect. This is the burden of betrayal. In our younger years, betrayal is painful, but it often comes with the resilience of time to heal and the energy to rebuild. When we are older, however, betrayal feels heavier, more significant, and harder to recover from. Why? Because by the time we reach old age, we have fewer opportunities to rebuild the bridges that were burned. The energy to start over is scarce, and the emotional capacity to trust again may feel nearly impossible to muster. Betrayal in your later years doesn't just rob you of trust, it steals your sense of stability and peace. The burden of betrayal also lies in its ability to make you question your own judgment. When someone you once trusted turns on you, it can lead to a spiral of self-doubt. You ask yourself, how did I not see this coming? Was I blind to their true intentions? Did I make the wrong choices in trusting them? These questions can haunt you, eroding your confidence and making you hesitant to depend on others. Over time, this mistrust can isolate you, creating a fortress around your heart, where even genuine relationships struggle to thrive. Betrayal doesn't just harm the relationship with the betrayer, it infects your ability to form new bonds. Let us not forget the emotional toll that betrayal takes on your spirit. It weighs heavily on your heart, replaying moments of disappointment like an unending film reel in your mind. You remember every instance where you went above and beyond for someone who later walked away when you needed them the most. You recall the times they promised loyalty but delivered abandonment instead. These memories are not just painful, they are exhausting. Carrying the burden of betrayal feels like lugging a heavy weight that never truly lessens, no matter how far you try to distance yourself from the source. The financial implications of betrayal can also be devastating. Many people, particularly in their old age, find themselves betrayed by individuals they trusted with their resources. It might be a family member who borrows money with promises to repay but never does. It could be a friend who manipulates you into investing in a false opportunity, or a caregiver who exploits your vulnerability. Financial betrayal is uniquely crippling in old age because it directly impacts your quality of life. At a time when you should be enjoying the fruits of your labor, you are left scrambling to make ends meet because someone you trusted violated that trust. Betrayal also has a way of amplifying loneliness. When you're older, your social circle may already be smaller due to life's natural progression. Friends pass away, family members move apart, and your energy for socializing diminishes. Betrayal from someone you counted on feels like losing yet another lifeline. The isolation that follows can be suffocating, making you question whether it's even worth the risk to let anyone close again. This loneliness is not just about being physically alone, it's about feeling emotionally disconnected, even in a room full of people. Moreover, betrayal in old age has a way of rewriting your life story. The people we love and trust are the chapters in our narrative. They help define who we are, what we believe, and how we see the world. When someone betrays you, it's as though they've torn a page out of your story, leaving you with a narrative that feels incomplete, disjointed, and even unjust. This rewriting of your life can leave you with unresolved anger, bitterness, or sadness that clouds your remaining years. The emotional scars of betrayal are compounded by the sense of injustice it brings. When you've lived a life of giving, supporting, and caring, betrayal feels like a slap in the face, a cruel twist of fate that defies the natural law of reciprocity. It's not just about what was taken from you, it's about the principle of fairness that was violated. This sense of injustice can become a heavy burden, one that gnaws at your peace of mind and makes it difficult to move forward. Betrayal in old age is not just a momentary pain, it's a lingering weight that shapes how you view the world and yourself. It alters your relationships, your emotions, your finances, and even your sense of identity. The burden of betrayal is not something you simply get over, it's something you carry, consciously or unconsciously, as a reminder of what you've endured. Life is a balance of give and take, a symbiotic exchange where relationships thrive on mutual contribution. However, there exists a certain group of individuals who tip this delicate balance entirely in their favor. These are the takers, people who eagerly receive but never reciprocate, who view others as sources of benefit rather than as human beings with needs, emotions, and limitations. The presence of takers in your life can be especially burdensome in old age when your resources and energy are no longer as abundant as they once were. Takers come in many forms. They can be friends, family members, colleagues, or acquaintances. At first glance, they may seem genuinely appreciative of your efforts, thanking you for your generosity and leaning on you in their time of need. But over time, a pattern begins to emerge, a pattern of one-sidedness. You're always the one they call when they're in trouble. You're the one who offers financial support when their bills are overdue, emotional support when they face heartbreak, and practical help when they can't manage their responsibilities. Yet, when you face struggles, their excuses pour in like a flood. They are too busy, tied up with their own issues, or mysteriously unavailable. This imbalance isn't just frustrating, it's exhausting. In your youth, you might have had the stamina to shoulder these one-sided relationships. You may have even justified their behavior, telling yourself that helping others is simply part of who you are. But as you age, the toll of constantly giving without receiving becomes heavier. Your emotional reserves grow thinner, your time becomes more precious, and your physical energy diminishes. At this stage of life, the presence of takers is not just inconvenient, it can be downright harmful. They siphon your resources, leaving you drained at a time when you should be conserving your strength. The financial burden imposed by takers is particularly troubling in old age. Many people work their entire lives to build a modest nest egg for retirement, only to see it chipped away by individuals who feel entitled to their generosity. A family member might consistently borrow money under the guise of temporary need, never intending to repay it. A friend might pressure you into covering their expenses or guilt you into funding their lifestyle. While the amounts may seem small at first, they add up over time, leaving you with less for your own needs. In old age, financial security is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Takers, however, disregard this reality, focusing solely on what they can extract from you. The emotional toll of dealing with takers is equally significant. Takers are often skilled manipulators, adept at making you feel responsible for their well-being. They use guilt as a weapon, reminding you of how much they need you or how no one else has ever cared for them the way you do. This emotional manipulation can leave you questioning your own boundaries, wondering whether it's selfish to say no. Over time, their demands can lead to resentment and burnout. Instead of feeling fulfilled by your relationships, you feel drained and used, like an endless well they draw from without ever replenishing. Takers also have a way of making their needs seem urgent, while diminishing or outright ignoring yours. They operate under the assumption that their problems always outweigh your own, that their time is more valuable, and that their struggles are more pressing. This mindset is not only dismissive but also deeply disrespectful. In old age, when your own health and well-being may require more attention, dealing with such individuals can feel like an added burden you should not have to bear. The psychological impact of engaging with takers cannot be overstated. Over time, their constant taking can erode your sense of self-worth. You may start to feel as though your only value lies in what you can provide for others. This perception is dangerous, as it can lead to a cycle of overgiving, where you continue to deplete yourself in an effort to feel needed or appreciated. In reality, takers rarely offer genuine appreciation. Their gratitude, if it exists at all, is fleeting and superficial, quickly replaced by their next request. Another troubling aspect of takers is their inability to acknowledge your humanity. To them, you are not a person with your own struggles, dreams, and limitations. You are a resource, a means to an end. This objectification can be dehumanizing, making you feel invisible and unimportant. In your later years, when you should be surrounded by people who value and cherish you, the presence of takers only serves to amplify feelings of loneliness and insignificance. The social dynamics of takers are also worth noting. They often surround themselves with givers, creating a network of individuals they can exploit. This can make it difficult to escape their influence, as they may use mutual acquaintances to pressure you into continued support. They may even spread narratives that paint themselves as victims and you as the villain for setting boundaries. This manipulation of social perception can leave you feeling isolated, as though no one understands the true nature of your relationship with the taker. Takers rarely change, because their behavior is rooted in a deep-seated sense of entitlement. They believe the world owes them something, and they see no issue with extracting what they need from others. Unfortunately, this mindset often blinds them to the damage they cause. They fail to see the sacrifices you make, the stress they impose, or the resources they drain. Their focus is solely on their own benefit, leaving little room for empathy or self-reflection. In old age, the presence of takers is not just a nuisance, it is a threat to your well-being. These individuals drain you emotionally, financially, and physically, all while giving nothing in return. They do not respect your boundaries, your time, or your needs, leaving you to carry the burden of the relationship entirely on your shoulders. Disrespect and ingratitude are among the most corrosive traits in human relationships, capable of eroding even the deepest bonds. These attitudes are not just offensive, they are indicative of a lack of appreciation for the time, effort, and sacrifices others make. For those who are disrespectful and ungrateful, your contributions are invisible, your sacrifices meaningless, and your value diminished. When these traits manifest in your old age at a time when respect and gratitude are more than due, they become a burden that weighs heavily on the soul. The disrespectful and ungrateful often show their true colors gradually. They may seem polite and appreciative at first, but over time, their behavior reveals a lack of regard for the person you are and the things you have done. This can manifest in subtle ways, such as failing to say thank you or dismissing your contributions, or in more overt acts, like belittling your efforts or treating you as though you owe them your help. These behaviors are not just hurtful, they are a sign that the person views your kindness as an entitlement rather than a gift. In old age, respect is not just a courtesy, it is a recognition of the wisdom, experience, and sacrifices you have accumulated over a lifetime. When someone dismisses or disregards you, it is not just an affront to your actions, it is an insult to your very being. It feels as though the years you have spent giving, caring, and sacrificing are being erased in a single act of disdain. This is especially painful when it comes from those you have loved and supported the most, such as family members, close friends, or individuals you have mentored. The ungrateful in particular are adept at minimizing your contributions. They take without acknowledging the cost to you, whether it be financial, emotional, or physical. Imagine spending years working hard to provide for your children, only for them to act as though your sacrifices were merely your duty and not a labor of love. Picture helping a friend through a tough time, only to have them act as if your support was inconsequential. The sting of ingratitude lies in its ability to make you feel invisible, as though your efforts are not worth noticing or celebrating. Disrespect often goes hand in hand with ingratitude, creating a toxic combination that can drain your energy and morale. Disrespectful individuals may dismiss your opinions, interrupt you when you speak, or act as though your experiences hold no value. This is especially harmful in old age, a time when your voice should carry the weight of wisdom and your presence should command honor. Instead, these individuals treat you as though you are a relic of the past, outdated and irrelevant. The psychological toll of dealing with the disrespectful and ungrateful cannot be overstated. Over time, their behavior can chip away at your sense of self-worth, making you question whether your efforts have ever truly mattered. You might start to second-guess your decisions, wondering if you gave too much to people who never deserved it. This internal conflict can lead to feelings of regret and resentment, which only serve to rob you of peace in your later years. Ingratitude can also create a sense of imbalance in relationships. When someone fails to acknowledge what you have done for them, it leaves you carrying the emotional weight of the relationship on your own. You are left wondering why you continue to invest time and energy into a connection that offers little in return. This imbalance can be particularly glaring in old age, when your resources, whether they be time, energy, or money, are more limited than they once were. Every act of ingratitude feels like a withdrawal from an account that is already running low. Disrespect and ingratitude are not just personal affronts, they are reflective of a broader cultural issue where people often fail to value those who came before them. In today's fast-paced world, where new ideas and trends overshadow tradition and experience, older generations are sometimes viewed as obsolete. This mindset can lead to systemic disrespect, where society at large fails to honor the contributions and wisdom of its elders. For those who have spent a lifetime building a foundation for the next generation, this lack of recognition is not only unfair but deeply disheartening. The behavior of the disrespectful and ungrateful can also create a ripple effect in your life. Their actions may cause you to withdraw from relationships, fearing further hurt or disappointment. You might find yourself becoming guarded, reluctant to extend kindness or support to others for fear of it being taken for granted. This withdrawal, while understandable, can lead to isolation, a dangerous state in old age when connection and companionship are vital for emotional well-being. The financial implications of disrespect and ingratitude should not be overlooked. Many elders find themselves supporting younger family members or friends, offering financial assistance or leaving behind inheritances. When these gestures are met with entitlement or disdain, it can feel as though your hard work and careful planning have been squandered. Instead of being seen as a provider of opportunities, you are treated as a mere source of income, with no acknowledgement of the sacrifices you made to accumulate those resources. Even worse, disrespect and ingratitude can sometimes escalate into exploitation. When someone consistently fails to respect your boundaries or appreciate your efforts, they may begin to take even more from you without asking. They assume your support is guaranteed, pushing you further and further until you are left with nothing to give. This exploitation is particularly harmful in old age, when your ability to replenish what has been taken is limited. Disrespect and ingratitude rob you of the joy that should come from helping others. There is a unique satisfaction in knowing that your actions have made a difference, that your sacrifices have been acknowledged and valued. When that acknowledgement is absent, it taints the experience, turning what should be an act of love into a source of pain. This emotional weight is a heavy burden to carry, particularly in the later years of life, when your focus should be on finding peace, joy, and fulfillment. Opportunists are some of the most cunning and self-serving individuals you can encounter. They are masters of manipulation, experts at spotting vulnerabilities, and relentless in their pursuit of personal gain. These people do not value relationships for what they truly are, a connection of mutual respect, care, and support. Instead, they see relationships as tools to be exploited, as stepping stones to further their own interests. The opportunists will take everything they can from you without a second thought, and when you have nothing left to offer, they will disappear without remorse. In old age, when your resources and energy are finite, encountering opportunists can be particularly damaging, leaving you depleted and disillusioned. Opportunists operate with a transactional mindset. To them, every interaction is a calculated decision. What can they gain? How can they benefit? They rarely, if ever, act out of genuine care or concern for others. When they show up in your life, they do so with a specific agenda in mind. Perhaps they need financial assistance, social connections, or emotional support to navigate a difficult time. They will flatter you, play on your emotions, and make you believe their intentions are sincere. But the moment they achieve their goals, their mask slips, revealing the hollow nature of their actions. In old age, opportunists can be particularly deceptive because they often disguise themselves as helpers. They might present themselves as concerned friends, supportive family members, or devoted caregivers. At first, their actions may seem altruistic. They visit you regularly, offer to run errands, or help manage your affairs. But beneath this facade lies their true motive to gain access to your assets, resources, or influence. They are patient predators, willing to play the long game if it means securing what they want. This type of betrayal cuts deeply because it preys on your trust, leaving you vulnerable when you are most in need of genuine support. One of the most insidious tactics used by opportunists is exploiting moments of weakness. In old age, health issues, loneliness, or financial concerns can make you more susceptible to manipulation. Opportunists are skilled at identifying these vulnerabilities and using them to their advantage. For instance, if you are feeling isolated, they may shower you with attention and make you feel valued, all the while planning how to benefit from your gratitude. If you are experiencing financial difficulties, they might offer helpful advice or propose investments that ultimately serve their interests, not yours. Their ability to exploit your pain for their gain is a hallmark of their character. Financial exploitation is a common tactic employed by opportunists, and it can have devastating consequences in old age. They might borrow money with no intention of repaying it, pressure you into co-signing loans, or convince you to include them in your will. In some cases, they may manipulate you into gifting them assets or giving them control over your finances. These actions can leave you in a precarious position, stripping you of the security and stability you have worked your entire life to achieve. For opportunists, there is no limit to what they are willing to take, and they will justify their actions with excuses or outright lies to avoid accountability. Another way opportunists exploit is through emotional manipulation. They are adept at crafting stories that tug at your heartstrings, making you feel as though helping them is not just an option but an obligation. They might claim to be facing a crisis or present themselves as victims of circumstances beyond their control. By playing on your empathy, they ensure you feel compelled to step in, often at great personal cost. Over time, their repeated use of this tactic can leave you emotionally drained, as you realize their gratitude is shallow and their loyalty non-existent. Opportunists are also skilled at disappearing when the tide turns. As long as you are useful to them, they are ever present, offering compliments, companionship, or support. But when you find yourself in need, whether due to illness, financial struggles, or emotional hardship, they are nowhere to be found. Their absence in times of difficulty is a stark reminder that their relationship with you was never about mutual care or respect. This abandonment can be particularly painful in old age, when support systems are critical to maintaining a sense of stability and well-being. The opportunist's betrayal is not just about what they take, it's also about what they destroy. They erode your ability to trust, leaving you skeptical of others' intentions. After being exploited, you may find it difficult to open up or accept help, even from those with genuine motives. This loss of trust can lead to isolation, a dangerous state in old age when connection and community are vital for emotional health. Opportunists rob you not only of tangible resources, but also of the intangible qualities that make life fulfilling: trust, security, and peace of mind. Opportunists are often shameless in their methods, using charm, persistence, and deceit to achieve their goals. They may use your good reputation to advance their interests, leveraging your connections or influence without regard for the consequences to you. They might drop your name to gain credibility, involve you in schemes that tarnish your standing, or exploit your relationships with others for their gain. This type of exploitation can leave you feeling betrayed on multiple fronts, as the damage extends beyond your personal losses to affect your broader social circle. What makes opportunists particularly dangerous is their ability to blend into your life without raising suspicion. They are chameleons, adapting their behavior to suit your expectations and preferences. They know how to say the right things, act in the right ways, and present themselves as trustworthy. This makes it all the more shocking when their true intentions come to light. By the time you realize you have been used, the damage is often already done, leaving you with little recourse and a heavy sense of regret. The presence of opportunists in your life can also have a lasting impact on how you view relationships. Their betrayal may cause you to question the authenticity of other connections, wondering whether those around you have hidden agendas. This doubt can create emotional walls that prevent you from forming meaningful bonds, leaving you isolated and wary. The emotional toll of this mistrust is a heavy burden to carry, particularly in old age when companionship and support are most needed.